when we were talking, getting ready for this podcast, you made a comment that, how you came up, your parents and everything, but there was a time where you said, you know what, I'm gonna leave some knowledge for my son. And you talked about a letter you wrote with a bunch of lessons in it. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have a son that just graduated from high school and got accepted to, I'm very proud of him, the Macomb Business School at University of Texas. And I got to tell you, Tom, I had no idea what they teach in business school, but I'm sure it's some good stuff because a lot of those folks come out of there and they do very, very well. But I wanted to tell him some of the things that I kind of learned along the way, and I've got bumps and bruises in my business career. And like you, I've made mistakes, but they're only real mistakes if you don't learn from them. But so I made him a list of 4 or 5 things, and the first one I put number 1 on the list, and this kind of people don't think about this, and they certainly don't teach this in business school. But your personality is probably one of your biggest business tools. As long as business is still done by humans. Humans are funny. We kind of like to do business with people that we like. And I said, without saying it like this, work on your personality. It's as important as knowing, the complex of finance models, because people like to do business with people that are likable. Try to be likable. Simple as that. I could be wrong, but my life has taught me that I'm not so wrong about that. Nobody likes to work with an ass, so don't be one. Second thing I told him was people need to learn, and in particularly true in business, you need to learn to be a better listener. If you're in a negotiation with someone or another group, or you're trying to make a deal, whether it's negotiating a commercial lease or a real estate transaction, if you allow the other person to talk without trying to fill the space with your own voice, train yourself to be an acute listener. They will tell you eventually exactly what they're going to need to make the deal happen. They will tell you what the most important thing is. And they will also allude to what are the things that they'd be willing to give up. But you can't hear those things if you're talking all the time. And so one of the things in my letter, my son, is learn to listen better. It's true about everything in life, but it's especially true in business. And then the third thing is, and I phrase it like this, the best deal I ever did was maybe the deal I didn't do. And what I mean by that is, don't ever be afraid to walk from a deal. Don't ever be afraid to push away from the table. If your gut is telling you, hey, this is a bad deal, I don't trust this person, it's unlikely that I'll ever see the end of this deal, I'll ever get my money, they'll ever perform on this agreement, whatever it is, it's okay to trust your gut without justification other than, I just don't feel right about the deal. Intuition is a very, very powerful thing. And I believe, and I've learned this lately in life, you can develop your intuition. It's kind of like lifting weights. You can build your muscles. You can also develop your intuition. And it's very handy in doing business transactions. Those are a couple of things. There's a few more, but yeah, he read the letter, and hopefully he'll go back and reread it in 5 or 10 years. And
I think those are really powerful. And what's really even more powerful is you came from this, God bless your parents, blue collar upbringing, you experienced these things, you had some success, and then you wanted to say, what do I take out of this and give back to my kid? And it's not necessarily big grand things. Sometimes there's simple things that are very powerful. People ask me about my daughters, and I say, well, your daughters are really nice or well behaved. Okay, you can thank my wife for all of that. If they only watch me, their behavior index would be much different. It's yeah, you know how men are. The interesting thing when people ask me, well, what's key for your daughters? Well, it's a couple things. I said, listen, I want to teach them to reason and resist. I want to teach them to reason in any situation and to resist the bad decision or a suboptimal decision, whether that's going drinking with friends, whether that's, dating somebody or doing something or getting involved in a project at school and then shaving off the edges or cheating. I want them to be able to reason and then resist. And if I leave them with that, they can go out and experience the world, and they'll make mistakes, but hopefully I give them those tools. That's what the number one and number two thing that I usually talk about, with my girls. You can say, well, I don't want them to graduate college with any debt. Well, I can do that too, but the question is, are there lessons in that? Or does that just make it easy for them? Or is there a lesson in that? Well, I happen to think that, the student loan industry is scam central. And I think students get completely screwed on the interest rate. So I don't want them to walk into that. And I don't want them to walk out with student loans, and I don't want them to pay that kind of usury for it. But, different things. But at the same time, I educate them about that. I say, you're going to come out of college without any debt, but let me tell you what the alternative is, and let me tell you why that's bad. Let's reason through this. And so it's basic things. It's not any grand 20-page thing and show them trophies from business or deal toys that have big dollar signs on them. It's none of that. It's basic stuff that builds character of the citizen. That's what I'm working on.
Fundamentals, right? Just fundamental stuff, and knowing how to treat people. One of the things too that I added on my list when doing a deal, there are some people in business, and I've met some of them. Their version of being a good business person is to absolutely smash the other side, to just crush them, and that's the kind of stuff that they brag about with their buddies. Man, I really smashed it. That's really, to me, not a good thing. I believe particularly if you're in a tough negotiation, it's okay to leave some meat on the bone for the other side. You never know in this life when you're going to want to do another transaction or business with that same group or that same entity again. And you want to keep them alive. You want to keep them in the game so that you have a chance to maybe to do another deal. I've done business. The sale of one of my companies with a group where their belief was to screw the other person by hiding a lot of language in the document, over lawyering the thing, and that to them was fun. I don't believe that. I think I love business because when done correctly, everyone wins. Everybody can win. Everybody can prosper. And that's why I think it's so important that we work so hard to preserve a system and a government and an economy that promotes small business and allows for small business to grow. Small business is the incubator of new ideas and new things. And if we have a government that is working to make people more government dependent instead of less government dependent and more independent, then they're working against business. They're working against us.